I am Peter Rundkvist. I'm working within the Utveckling Nordost, Development Northeast actions, which are today a part of the business region Gothenburg organization since 1st of April. I will take you into the future of GOLIP because I will say a few words about a pilot study going on right now, which is called Stadslandet, Gothenburg, or we always suggest the English translation, rural urban Gothenburg. The background, very briefly, is that between the years 2011-2013, the big city development European Union project, Utveckling Nordost, Development Northeast, was carried out, financed by the European Regional Development Fund together with the city of Gothenburg. The focus on that project was to try to improve the attractiveness of the northeastern parts of Gothenburg through new jobs, new investments, and actions into specifically into culture, public meeting places, as well as business, in order to tell and also to develop the story about the future of Gothenburg that we felt is growing, and that we, I think, so far can confer is really growing in the northeastern parts of the city. It was a collaboration platform between several different departments within the city of Gothenburg who worked together in order to find out smart and new and innovative ways of collaborating for this sustainable development in this area. We created what we would call a kind of hothouse, or in Swedish, gödbädd, for the local sustainable development. That is, that we supported a lot of local initiatives as well as ideas, research initiatives and so on, in a kind of mix, where we tried to sort out what would be a way of supporting a future and long-term sustainable development. So we developed a model for a broad urban development projects as potentials for increasing growth and reducing segregation, which was also a very important thing. And from last year, April 1st, these activities and these actions are hosted by the business region Göteborg AB. The city decided to prolong and permanent and take the results of the project further, and we hope that we will be able to continue and work together. And in that, and for doing that, the research aspect and the scientific aspects of the sustainable development is becoming very important to us. So what we are doing in this pilot study is trying to identify a number of essential, as we think, essential research questions that we would like to be taken further into the future, the next year on, with looking on the northeastern parts of the city as a kind of platform, research platform, where action research can be undertaken, but also more strategic, long-term questions and issues being developed and taken into consideration. Some of these questions are, for example, what can new models of collaboration and innovation for sustainable green development between the city and the city surroundings, the countryside around the city, what can they look like? Would they be possibilities? Would that be economically sustainable, for example, to support environmentally friendly food production, local food production in these areas, for example? How would local innovative development hubs. We are seeing that development hubs, for example, here in Hammarkullen, you could consider this place here, the house of this Folkets Hus, the different actors that are active here, the university, Chalmers and so on, as a kind of development hub. How could that be the basis for developing test beds that could contribute to this ecological, as well as social and cultural development? Also related to this very specific relationship between the city and the countryside that we all know about, which is it's very obvious when you're here. What measurable impacts can cultural and creative industries related to green business provide for these kinds of areas? Not only in Gothenburg, but all over the world. I mean, if you combine the CCI sector, the creative and culture sector, with the green sector, are these sectors future sectors for the futures? Will they expand? Will they create more jobs? Will they contribute to a new kind of sustainability? And how would that be, and how long time would it take? We need research on that. We need to try and test in practice, but we also need research on these matters. The carbon reduction, of course. How can CO2 local food production be developed in a city, in city area, in closed city areas, and be related to the production sites? There are already such food productions going on here in these areas, but the problem is that there is a logistical problems, for example, in order to get these products into the consumers in the city centers. How could that be made in a more efficient way? How could we promote and make the production chain, so to speak, more sustainable and in a better way contribute to reducing the CO2 levels? How can production chain from the local producer to the consumer in the city center become streamlined and made CO2 reduced? Is the basic question. Don mentioned, for example, the concept of agroforestry, which is something that is coming up, which has been for several years a method for in other parts, especially in for example in tropical parts of the world, to improve and in better ways use food production methods. Is that something that can be used and become an innovative, economically and ecological sustainable element in the green business development in this city? Is agroforestry something? Of course, these are just a few examples of questions. We have many, many more. And when we are working with this pilot study, which will present a proposal by the end of March for a broader research platform based and focused on the northeastern Gothenburg, right in our head right now, it looks like this. How can research innovatives be upscaled to ensure the sustainability of local economies, not only in the city, but also regionally and on a national level? And it could look like this, for example. I mean, there's an abundance of different kinds of questions, ideas, possibilities, but we do identify three main areas. That's the ecology, the area of ecologic production, for example, sustainable food production. One other dimension is the social dimension, the dimension of social sustainability, which we've already heard of a lot of interesting things about here. So how could this be connected to the social sustainability on one hand and an economic sustainability on the other hand? So the ecology, the social and the economic dimension will be three pillars that we will surround a lot of different research questions around in our pilot study. And we will be happy and hope that all of you that are in this room will be interested in contributing and continuing and following and connecting to the suggestions that we will produce here. So we hope that we will be able to present within the next 2 months, both in seminars that we will arrange and in a final report, how this will be taken further. Thank you.